I'm just waiting for the page to come up, and we're in here. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Let's see. We are live in our live.
Awesome. We are live.
Tarot Tuesdays. Now people just have to actually find that we're live on the group.
All
Hopefully,
right.
yeah. Refresh your pages, people.
Right.
Yeah, some people
I
were
can,
saying to start a few minutes early, so when people come in knowing that it's supposed to start around 1, that well, my time, 2 o'clock your time,
right.
and that way when they come in they see the live right away and it's running, and I'm like, yeah, or you could refresh your page. I mean,
6 of one, half a dozen of the other, right?
yeah, I mean, Sharona found us. Hi, Sharona.
Sharona.
I'm gonna message her in here and say hi. Yeah, we'll see.
Hi, Sharona.
Can you hear us, Sharona? She says, I can see you. Yeah,
So
so
we can't see you. We can't see her.
it's like reversed radio. It's like, now they can see us. It's television, but we can't see
I
them.
know. It's kind of scary, because there's that saying, like when I used to do these big roundtables with other radio journalists, we would always kind of joke he's got a face for radio, because you're never seen. So people dress in their sweats or Hawaiian shirts or just, not fancy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It looks like I'm with the backdrop. It looks like I'm here next to my shelves when in reality I'm outside on the patio. You might hear some cars go by. I actually heard some airplanes landing at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base.
Cool.
But it's windy here. You said it was really windy where you are.
Windy, we oh my gosh, there were so many wildfires yesterday, and it's cold. It's 26 and it feels like it's 12. But I'm inside. I'm cozy. I have warm fuzzy pillows, and
you look all cozy. I love your backdrop there,
yeah.
the wall hanging, and
Yeah.
Rini Rose is in there with Sharona.
Hi,
Hey,
Rini.
yeah, she says, what temperature is it in Arizona? Well, it was 40 some degrees this morning, and I don't know how low it got, but right now I can actually look at the thermometer and it's 70, 71.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I'm on
jealous.
a covered. Yeah, but it's still cold. I'm on a cover. I'm under a covered patio. Can't talk today. Sorry, guys. My throat's a little scratchy too. And I'm in the shade here, and there's this wind blowing, so it's cold. It feels like 40 or 50 degrees. I mean, it was really cold this morning, and it's towards the end of the week. Gosh, Thursday, Friday, we're supposed to get lows in the 30s. I think Friday morning is supposed to be 30 degrees, so that's below freezing.
Wow.
We're gonna have to run the water.
Oh, love that. Love that. And here is the Tarot Guild weather report. I love it. I love
Hey,
it.
we
I
gotta
was
have
like,
something
wait a
to
minute.
chat about while we're waiting for
We're
people to come in.
doing the weather. We're
Yes,
actually doing the weather. I love
I
that.
never ever thought I'd be the weather guy, but here I am.
There you are.
Reporting to you live from Tucson, Arizona. Live
Right.
weather. And from Amarillo, Texas, with Mary Brown.
It's freezing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is a cool day because it is February 22nd. 2022. So it's actually 2222222. And
So
it's
what does it
funny.
mean?
Well, see, that's the funny thing is like, well, in numerology, it really doesn't mean a whole lot. There's nothing special about, when you have dates with just the same number. It's really not that big of a deal. But I'll tell you about the numerology real quick. But the thing is that everybody else, though, is making a big deal out of it. So I wake up and I'm listening to, regular national news, and they're talking numerology on the
Wow.
national news networks, and I'm like, this is cool. Everybody's going gaga because it's, 222222, and this date is falling on a Tuesday, which is not a real thing, but this is what
Go with
people
it.
go with it. This is what people do, and so, hey, numerology is getting a little bit of a shout out today, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
In reality, it's the 22nd, just like the 22nd of any month. All right. The 11th and the 22nd are master number days. And yeah, things can be different on those days. Normally you would reduce down to a single digit. So the 11th of the month is a 2 energy, and the 22nd is a 4 energy. So structure. But it's the master builder number. And so, every month we have the master builder number, we have the master illuminator number on the 11th, and things can happen on those days. Now it's not as powerful, obviously, as because it happens so frequently. Somebody asked me that once, it's like, how do you know? Because there's like all these different cycles. Think of the wheel card. We live in cycles within cycles within cycles, and there's all these numerology cycles, every 9 months, every 9 days, every 9 weeks, every 9 years. And with the personal year number, and then the world year number is also another 9-year cycle. And there's ones that are even bigger than that most numerologists don't even talk about that stuff. But someone asked me about that, and I said, well, it's very simple. It's like the thing that happens the fastest, or I should say the most frequent, has the least power. What happens the longest, like it takes a whole year to go to the next energy, that's more powerful than the fact that, hey, every 9 days we do a 9-day cycle. So that 2 energy is not as powerful as a world year 2 energy. You see, that's kind of how numerology works. It's a little hard to wrap your head around it, but yeah, it's a significant day, being the 22nd. The entire date, if you add all those 2s up, you get 12. So 1 + 2 is 3. So actually it's creativity and communication today. There's no huge significance to all those 2s. Really, there isn't. But whenever you have a master number situation going on, or you're seeing angel numbers, and so you see 1111, or 222, or 777, that's when the universe or spirit is trying to get you to look at that particular number. So it's not 222, for instance. You don't reduce it to 6. It's the 2 energy. So the closest equivalent, that would be the closest equivalent to what's going on today with this, all these 2s in the date, is if you were going to say anything at all, you'd be saying you look at the 2 energy. So that's relationships and mediation and partnerships and getting along with others and counseling. And I mean, just a lot of things to the 2 energy, couples. And here we are in the month of love. So, that's about it for the date. It is the 22nd. And I did note that the month and the day added together is 6, which is that nurturing energy. And it's in the same subgroup as the 369 creativity and communication numbers, which the whole date reduces to 3. So this is a great day, and we're doing it right now. We're being creative and communicating here on the live. Yeah. In fact,
Amazing.
we got something special for them today. We do these lives as frequently as we can. We've been doing them every Tuesday, every Saturday. The Saturday ones are on hiatus right now. We don't know if we're going to bring them back or do them on a different day or just do random lives throughout the week and just keep this Tuesday as the one that we have regularly scheduled. Maybe I'll just pop on a Thursday or a random Sunday or whatever, and do a live. But the idea of these lives, similar to our Q&A sessions for our private, in the private premium members group for the premium members, is just to answer questions, just to be here, just to hang out and talk tarot. And hopefully, we have a topic to discuss, but you guys can all join us in the comments there, use it as a chat room and chat with us and let us know, what's your questions. Maybe you have a question about the Tarot Guild. Maybe you have a question about the certification process to become a certified professional reader. Maybe you have questions about becoming a professional reader, or more generic questions about tarot cards, how to read cards, creating decks. You might have questions about numerology, like we were just talking about. Anything's fair game, and you can just throw it in the chat there, and the comments on the live. By the way, if you're watching this live anyplace else live, be sure to go over to the Tarot Guild group, because that's where the comment feed that we're actually going to see is going to be on that video, not wherever else it might be shared. Although it's a private group, so I don't think we can share these out anymore, Mary.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question for everybody who's watching live now and who will watch it later. And what I'm wondering is, what should we ask on the Tarot Today radio show for a Psychic Spin episode? What big question should we be taking a look at? And I don't know. I need an idea. Give me one, people. Give me a great, and the larger questions. What we do, in case you haven't listened or you're not familiar with the Psychic Spin episode, the last Saturday of every month, we do something called the Psychic Spin, where we pull tarot cards on the big questions. The big questions like, why are we here? What's the meaning of life? Are aliens among us? Are robots taking over? Is AI going to replace us? Those big questions, a lot of which we've already done. We've already done a lot of those, but I'm just curious what questions people would like us to pull cards on.
Yeah, I was going to suggest also anything that's really big that everybody's thinking about. So something from the news. And of course, we have the huge ongoing Russian thing, that's something of interest. But let us know in the comments what you'd like us to talk about on the Psychic Spin this Saturday. We don't have anything planned, right, Mary? We don't have anything, right?
I got nothing.
Yeah, so Rini, Sharona, whoever's in the live chat, or if you're watching the replay of this, just send us a message. Go over to the tarotguild.com and message us from our pages. There's a in the drop down menu under members, I think is the link that says contact us. You can also just go to our pages by using our first name. So Mary is mary.thetarotguild.com. I'm dax.thetarotguild.com. And we both have big blue message buttons. And you click that, and it's going to open up a pre-populated message with our name already in there. All you got to do is put in the subject line and let us know what your suggestions are for the psychic spin and anything else, guests you'd like to hear us interview, decks you want us to review, things like that. Gosh, I was going to say something about you can also message us here on Facebook too. We're here on Facebook. Just find us and Messenger. What was I going to say? Oh, I know. It's when you hit the blue button, Mary, if they're not signed in, it's going to prompt them to sign in. And if you're not signed up yet on the website, it's free to sign up. And you can sign up with your social media like Facebook, Twitter, Google, LinkedIn, or you can put in, your email address and a password, use your email address as your username. It's real quick to sign up. It's 100% free. And then you can use the website and you'll be able to message us then. You'll be able to sign in and message us. So question, are we on the verge of WW3? That's a great way of putting everything that's going on with the Ukraine and Russia and their, the invasion today, quote unquote, some people are calling it an invasion. It already happened. And putting it all together, Mary, into something really succinct and big. That's a good idea, Sharona. Are we on the verge of WW3? Should we pull some cards on that on Saturday?
I'd say we do it.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah. And of course we can, that's relatively short. I mean, we could do more than one, on psychic spin, we can do more than one psychic spin. Yeah. If we do them quickly, we can pull some cards on this, then pull some cards on that. So if you guys have other ideas for this Saturday, let us know, please. And oh, by the way, Rini has a question. Her big burning question for the universe, simply, how can I obtain the wall hanging behind Mary?
Amazon. You'll find it on Amazon. That's where I found it. And I love it because it says, create the future, live the present, learn from the past, and cycle of the ages.
That's just about perfect for a psychic, tarot reader, astrologer, whatever. And I'm always saying how the real power of tarot is creating your future, not finding out what the future is necessarily, divination stuff. And the easiest way to predict the future is to create it yourself. So I'm always saying that, that's the way I like.
I also have my zodiac clock.
Oh my, look at that. That's awesome.
It glows in the dark too. Isn't it wild? So right now it is Cancer past Gemini, in case anybody was wondering what time it was. It cracks me up. I don't know why. It just cracks me up.
Now I'm gonna have to, I don't know, I'm gonna have to go scour Amazon for all these cool things.
And my fairy meeting place sign.
Oh, look at that. That's really cool.
I also have a unicorn crossing sign too, but it's too far up there for me to get off.
Well, I'm glad that you guys could come and hang out with us. I'm hoping, more people will start coming to the lives. We did have some lives where there was quite a few people. And I think the one I did recently with Gary 2 weeks ago was pretty good.
Yeah. There were a lot of comments and I watched that one. It was fun.
Yeah. And so, hopefully maybe some more people will see that we're live and pop in here. It always boggles my mind having 6,800, almost 7,000 people on this group, and we've got 2 people in the comments. You know, it's like
People do stuff, it's hard to know, people are out there doing stuff like, there's a lot of lives that I didn't watch live, but I watched them after the fact. I tend to do that more than tune in for lives because, it's like a schedule, gotta put it on my calendar.
the same thing happens with our radio shows because they're scheduled and people can't make them live quite frequently. So they,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And on our YouTube channel, so people that only follow us on YouTube, they're getting the recording,
Yeah.
video version of the recording. That's one thing I love about these lives though, and the workshops and everything else, but those are of course for our premium members, but these we get to, pop them up on our different video sections and stuff like that, where we have actual live video, like the review we're going to do today, Tarot Disassembled by Jennifer Cooper Steidley. Look at that. Is that the box, by the way?
This is the box.
Look what I got. I have the black one.
Oh, wow. Oh,
I didn't know they were more.
Yeah, it comes in 2 different colors. You can either get the yellow one or the black one.
I love this thing. Oh, by the way, Rini has a good suggestion. Might help with the live. She says, can we have a contest and win this? And when she says win this, I don't know what she means to win. So what is it you want to win, Rini? Let me know. But but as an example, people who come to the live get to enter their name to win something.
Oh, cool.
What
are we?
Yeah, we're gonna have
a date with Dax. They win a date with Dax.
Oh, you know what she wants is she wants to win the wall hanging.
Oh no.
No, Mary's not
Oh
giving that one up,
I'm not. You're gonna have to go through me first.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe we'll pick one of those up from Amazon or something else.
Yeah, that does sound fun. We should do that. We should have like prizes of some sort.
Yeah, that might.
I have crystals. They could win a crystal.
Oh yeah. That's a great idea. Maybe one of these lives do a mini version of There's a Rock for that, and just show a couple of your favorite stones or something, and we can chat about what like how you would use those stones with tarot would be a good
Yeah.
Putting it together.
Absolutely.
Oh, here's Jennifer. Hi, Jen. We were just showing. We're gonna open them up in a bit here, but I love how Mary's got what color is that actually? Is that like a yellowish or orange box?
Yeah, it's like a yellow, like a sunny yellow color.
Yeah, see, I like black. I really do. But my favorite color is orange, which is what I love about the edging of this. We'll get into that in a minute. I got to fix get myself off mute permanently. I was holding the button down to talk, and I can't do that and hold my box at the same time. The greatest thing about this to me is the box. I know it's insane, but I just love this box. It is so well made. And look, folks, it's magnetic. It's got magnets. And it opens up like that. And there you go. And look at the inside. I just love that.
Oh, see, that's my inside.
Yeah. Very nice. Now under the cards, there's a saying. And under the cards, does yours say the same as mine?
What's yours say?
May these cards illuminate the shadows and lovingly guide you through the dark, much like the light of the moon.
Oh, No,
What is,
mine says something different.
tell me yours.
My, mine says, let me get my glasses because I can't read it. Hold on.
And while you're doing
Hold
that,
on.
real quick, let me show them where I was reading that. It's inside under the cards, folks. And I had the moon
Mine,
symbol. Yeah.
I can't, hold on. I need glasses for my,
It's a bright light
actually,
or better
I
glasses.
know. Hold on. Let me get out my magnifying glass. Okay, now I can see it. May
Wow, that's
these
bright.
cards may these cards be a reflection of your own radiant light and lovingly illuminate your path, much like the light of the sun. So,
So
like, you got the moon version, I got the sun version.
that's cool. I love that.
It is the coolest.
Jennifer has thought of
Uh,
everything with this deck, by the way, folks.
she has thought of
look
some
at the
cool stuff here.
look at the edging. The edging, folks. It's like my favorite color, orange. How's your deck edged, by the way? Is it
Yeah, the same.
same? Okay. And then what about the backs of yours?
The same.
Do you have the black also? Okay. I was
Yeah.
just wondering because the box was so different. I was wondering if something was different about the cards, but it's not. It's the same. And that's the backs, folks. And you can see some of the symbols. So we've got the wings and the lemniscate and the sun and the moon and the water and the clouds and what's else on there? I see crown.
Oh, on the backs,
Yeah, crown.
the wings, a crown, a rose,
Rose. And
a mountain, water.
and so for those that are
Grapes.
unfamiliar, it almost looks like plastic. This is so well done. The edging and everything, and the card stock. Wow, the card stock. Holy cow! But what I wanted to try to show, well, okay, because I'm doing the green screen, it's a little hard. But you can see this is what we're talking about. It's like all the different symbols kind of extracted from a card and then put back in a semi pattern kind of thing. And there's the full card. Look at that. So it's all the elements minus the person, which I kind of like that. By the way, Jennifer, is that how it is on all the cards? We asked her this on the radio show and now I forget. We interviewed her a while back. There's no, like, the people have been removed, but you might have like their clothing might show up. I see shirts, boots, socks, the crown. So you'll get those elements, and even the dog. There's Sharona's little white dog.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
I'm still learning how to do this green screen thing. And so it has all these. And you know what I noticed going through the cards, Mary, is that what's really cool, I think, especially from a learning standpoint, that you'll see how frequently the same symbol shows up on other cards where you might not notice that in the full-on artistic renderings on different decks. Even the Waite, obviously these symbols are from the Waite Smith version of the deck, but there's thousands, and you might not pick up on individual symbols, but when you look through this deck, you go, oh wow, the rose is here and the rose is there, and the rose and the lily are here and the rose and the lily are there, and you can see all the cards that they show up on.
Yeah, that's why, and I told Jennifer this, when we had her on the radio show. I think this is a great teaching tool, because there's so many different approaches that we take to to try and to remember all the symbolism on all the cards and everything. We learn about the symbolism, we learn about the titles, we learn about the numbers, all of those things, and having them extracted like this in the form of a deck where you can pull out whatever card, like we did with the Fool. um I have my giant Rider-Waite here too, so you can look at the Magician, in the classic depiction, and you see, all those elements, but like you said, you may not necessarily pick up that all of these elements are in this card. And so I think it's kind of a great teaching tool to have, her deck, and use that in conjunction with
Here's
teaching
the
the Rider-Waite Smith.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
doing it side by side is really a great way to teach, and it's not
yeah,
just all the symbols in the individual card, but also how the same symbols will reappear in other places in the deck, which then you start to get a feel for that, where I mean, most good teachers will point this stuff out anyway,
yeah,
but it's just that here it's so much clearer to see.
yeah,
See it when
yeah.
it shows up.
Yeah, and I thought, that would be great. I like to, teach, I like to teach one-on-one, but I also like to do like, like a group. And so I feel like this would be great to have, like, I could, pull up like the Magician card, like that we were just looking at, and like actually ask them without looking at the card, how are they used? Where are these things placed? And help them to have that imagery in their head to recall it. Oh, he's, the thing is above the Magician's head, or it's over here, the Fool is got the dog beside him, like that kind of thing, where they can kind of recall and start thinking about it. Because ultimately, symbols are just symbols. It's really the interaction of them that we get meaning from. And so I think that this could be used as a really great teaching tool in a lot of different ways.
Definitely. In fact, I'm wanting to re-record the Tarot by the Numbers course because it's been 5 years, since the elements of the course and some of the elements previous courses, and I've kind of like edited it all together. And so it'd be nice to do it fresh and live with the students, and I can add that element where we're using Jennifer's deck.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, that's really cool. What do you think about that, Jen? So Jennifer, actually, she's going to come on and do a workshop. And do I have that date? I got to look up the date, but she would know. Maybe she'll tell us in there. But she's going to talk about, creating your own deck, creating your first deck, publishing a deck, self-publishing, Kickstarters. That's the big one. Everybody wants to know how to do their Kickstarter and how to, source printing and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah. So I'm looking on the list here. Okay, where is that? There it is, March 27th. Creating your first tarot deck, self-publishing, Kickstarters, and more with Jennifer. 4 p.m. Eastern, March 27th. And if you guys go to the website right now, thetarotguild.com, and right in the middle of the main page, you'll see our live Zoom workshops and Q&As banner. Just click on that and you'll get the full list. And I'm going to pop this in the comments, Mary, for everybody. If they want
Cool.
to, go over there and check out the workshops. But what do you think of this cardstock? Have you noticed how thick this deck is?
Yes, I have noticed that. And like,
I don't know if I can shuffle this.
You know what I have found out with like decks that are like this, where it's like a thicker deck and the card stock is thicker as well, is that like you have to break them in. And what I do is like I'll take a small section of them and kind of just get them used to bending because I riffle shuffle.
Yeah.
And it's much easier that once you've started like shuffling just like small sections of it, and then start working with the deck until you work up to working with the whole deck. It doesn't take very long, and it's easy to do that. But yeah, you know, like for me personally, I prefer like more flexible card stock. And it's kind of it's a moving target. Everybody has different opinions on it. You know, my favorite card
Yes.
stock uh, is different from somebody else's favorite card stock.
See, I like
You know,
significant card stock, and I would call this significant. You know, and
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
I'm sorry. I
I
thought
was
you were calling me.
agreeing.
I could have sworn
You
I heard
thought I was
something.
calling you names.
Yeah.
No.
No, I thought maybe you had lost my sound and you were going Dax. I can't hear you Dax or something like that. So I just wanted to make sure you could still hear me. Um,
Okay.
and I like this. It is harder to shuffle. Some people, when they get a really nice quality deck, they don't, you know, some people don't want to shuffle these, not in
Yeah.
the traditional rifling way. You can do the chaos method. You can lay them down on a spread cloth so that it keeps the cards clean, and you can push all the cards out and bring them all back into the deck, and
Yeah.
it's all shuffle there. You know, if you don't want to bend them, if you don't want to do rifling, you know, and of course
Yeah.
you can do the hand over hand, you know. And if I'm trying to feel the slipperiness now, these are not super slippery. A lot of decks
No.
are, and a lot of people, a lot of readers prefer super slippery, kind of like playing cards, because you can do the fast rifling and everything. But
Yeah.
a lot of the decks nowadays, though, are going to this different kind of stock where it's thicker, doesn't bend as easily, doesn't lend itself to shuffling it as easily, but it's also the linen finish or the different types of finishes, and so
Yeah.
they're not super slippery here, you know.
Yeah. It's that matte kind of finish. The rose,
Yeah,
it feels like rose petals on this one.
I
No,
love it. I love the feel.
this is a
Ownership.
classy job. And I think, you know, from the way I'm going to work with this deck is use it as a teaching tool, use it as a study deck. And so I'm really not going to worry about shuffling it so much anyway. So that's good because you know, you don't want to bend up your cards, and that's a kind of can be easier to do when they're thicker like this. But yeah, I think it's just really well made.
The other thing I wanted to say, Mary, that goes along with what you just said there, I can see keeping a copy of this pristine like this and just use it as a teaching tool or for yourself, you know, and for learning and going through the cards and the symbols and learning symbology and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But um, I I don't know if I'm going to do readings with this or not. I might. However, I can see people reading with this deck. And
Oh yeah.
let me tell you what I think is really cool about it. As you go through the imagery, it's all there. You know, you've got the symbols, you got everything you need to work with. But as far as, well, as an example, the quote unquote scarier cards are a lot less scary in this deck. You know, if you look at the death card or the devil card, you know, like the devil card, you've got the chain, you know, you right away, you're getting the symbology of being attached to something or chained to something or something like that, but without the scariness, you know, of having the actual satyr or however you want to describe the devil. Remember we were talking about that on the show, the made up And
Baphomet.
the Baphomet, yeah. And um another
Yeah.
another one. Oh, even, look, this is gray, the color gray, the Hermit, and even gray looks excellent in this deck. I mean, everything
Oh
looks
yeah.
let me find this one card. There it is. The Tower. Okay, so
Yeah. With the mannequins instead of people. I like that.
right. So it makes it a lot less scary for people. You could use this with kids. It'd be perfect for doing readings with kids or
Oh,
teenagers, or or you're doing a reading for the parents and the kids are around, pull this deck out because it's safer. Yeah. You don't have to explain
yeah.
some of the scarier cards to people. Um, I really like that. You know, it still has the lightning
Oh
bolt.
yeah.
It has the rocks. It has the tower falling over here. It's got the person falling, but it's a mannequin, so it's not, or a puppet, a string puppet. I don't know what you would call that. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like Pinocchio. Um, and you get the same essence of the card without it having to be scary. The other thing about it is that it's very attractive. So when you're doing a
Yeah.
reading with even an adult, and you're not so worried about it's not about the scary cards. It's just having an attractive deck that has all the Waite Smith symbology, but at the same
Mhm.
time, it's done differently. It's got the colors, uh, the better card stock, the superior quality, and just it's a very fun looking deck.
Mhm.
I could see it lending itself to readings with people too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it has multiple uses for sure.
Oh, and Taro Vita. Hi, Taro. Hi, Vita. She's in the comments. She said no boobies. Laugh out loud. So I think she's
Well, that's
referring.
to the nudity, and
Yeah,
that's
in
cool
some decks.
too, because yeah, because if you, and even the Rider Waite Smith, it's like it can be tricky if you are doing public readings. Like if you're at a psychic fair, depending on where you live, that could be a problem. Like where I live, it's a problem. you know. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, we have, to give you an example, we're just talking about, the limited nudity that is in the classic Rider Waite Smith deck and other tarot decks as well. I remember, some years ago here, we have this fine art society that'll put on, art shows, art exhibits, that kind of thing, and they don't allow any nudity in their art exhibits, which is kind of weird because most people think of fine arts like you expect it.
There's a
You think
lot
of a
of nudity in
classic.
fine arts.
Yeah. So yeah, when I do like psychic fairs locally, I've got to be careful what decks I'm bringing with me, because they tend to be, yeah, it's a Bible Belt, but it's like they're really into psychic fairs. They bring the whole family. So I don't know. Go figure.
I know it's the Bible Belt, but they go to psychic fairs. But it can't be nude.
Right. It's
I'm like,
complicated.
this is why I don't, there. Anyway, I'm trying to find, and I'm having trouble finding it here. Hold on. I'm going through because the perfect example there. I finally took me an hour to find the star card. The star card, which is the classic, got the boobies on
Yeah.
it. And this version, of course, does not have the boobies. But it still has all the elements. It even has the ibis. It's got the
Yeah.
stars. It's got the two pictures, the water. Um, I really liked how on Temperance, because one of the
Mm.
main symbology going on for me
Mhm.
As the giant water truck goes by. Oh my God, that's loud. Sorry, guys. I had the deck in my hand. I couldn't hit the mute button quick enough here. So, there's the angel has 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on the dry land, symbolizing how, the human condition where we're, halfway in the spiritual realm and halfway in the physical realm. And Jennifer still gets that into her temperance card. She's got 2 feet up to the shin, it's basically ankle and foot. Almost looks like socks, white socks, but 1 foot is in the water and 1 foot is on the dry land, on the rocky right there. And I just think it's great that she got that in there. She even got in the symbol on the angel's chest, which I call it the symbol of tarot, the square.
Yeah.
And having trouble with the square with the triangle in it, which is it's like the Ankh. It's a symbol for life. So the triangle represents the element of spirit dwelling within the square, which represents the other 4 physical elements of physical manifestation. So spirit within matter, life. That's where that comes from, and that is basically the tarot, because you can line up the major arcana, which is represents the quintessential element.
The triangle.
Yeah, and so imagine 7 cards, 7 cards, 7 cards, all from the majors, lining up the 7 cards, and of course, 21. You have a 22nd card, which is the Fool, that will go in the middle, and then along the square, the edges of the square, all 14 cards of each suit lining that. And so I've always seen it as the symbol of tarot, the square and the triangle inside of it.
Yeah.
Jennifer said I might have to do a sister deck, Tarot Disassembled, the all boobies edition.
Yeah, Ospensky calls it the symbol of tarot too, and in his book, and I think that
I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You're not alone at all. He has like a whole chapter on it. It's kind of funny because I was kind of going over like, but it's this weird thing. You know how, I forget what it was. Was it the live that you and Gary did where you guys were talking about your tarot journey and how everybody should share their excuse me, tarot journey? And I was thinking about that, and I was just thinking like, wow, what a long, strange trip it's been, right? But Ospensky, New Model of the Universe, was like one of the first, signposts on my tarot journey. I learned a lot from him. So it's weird, but nobody talks about him. But they should be talking.
I know the name. I love this box though.
I keep coming back. I like mine better. I like mine better.
The box alone is worth the purchase of the deck. I mean,
The box alone. No, the deck is worth the purchase of the deck. This is so amazing.
I'm just kidding, Jennifer. Jennifer's actually here in the comments with us, the creator. I did not expect her to show up,
I know. We're supposed to be like serious now.
Well, I want to show you the back of the back of the box. It has the symbols laid out. It makes it look cool, makes like a symbol out of the symbols.
Yeah. It's like a mandala.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of thought went into it.
Oh yeah, a lot of thought. And I love how, just the little touches, like, most boxes don't have anything in the bottom of the box, just little touches like that. And the magnetic enclosure, so it stays, and you don't have to open up, the, what do they call those boxes that tarot decks used to always come in? The
tuck boxes.
Yeah. Oh, can't stand tuck boxes. But more and more and more, even the major publishers are going with the high quality, high end boxes, even if they're not as cool as this one with the magnetic enclosure. At least they're like the ones that slide up, slide off. I love those too as well. Oh,
Oh yeah.
what else do you want to say about Tarot Disassembled here? We're coming to the end of the live here.
Yeah, I really think that people should check it out. I think it has multi purposes to it. You know, it's kind of a thing where, you know, a lot of times like we'll get a deck that maybe has its own system, or it's so far away from the Rider-Waite Smith that you have to study it for a while. You have to, you know, wrap your head around it. And this, it's like immediate that you recognize it, you know, and just the fact that it's all these symbols, I think is just makes it a wonderful teaching tool. I think you could use it in like multiple ways. It could be teaching, but it could also be like sort of fun, you know, fun to play with, you know, like you could do a tarot memory game, you know, like this, you
Yeah.
know, for example, the Eight of Swords. Okay. So I'm going to pull out this, look at those symbols and tell me, what do they look like in the Rider-Waite Smith card? What, um,
Uh,
you know, what's going on with the blindfold and the rope and the swords in that card, you
exactly.
know. And I think if you use it like that, then you know the person like, oh, it's like, oh wait, yeah, she's blindfolded and her hands are tied and all the swords are around her. Okay, well, what does that mean to you? And what does it mean to you to see the symbols? Here they are, just kind of listed, you know, arranged, but just kind of like there they are. How do they interact with each other in the Rider-Waite Smith card? I just think it's a great way because it can bring to mind that imagery of the card, and it makes you examine how the symbols are used. So, I mean, Jennifer, I think, has given a huge, really cool gift to tarot teachers and to people learning tarot, because not everybody can take a class or has the time or has access to that. If they get the deck, they can do those kind of practice themselves, you know, like a memory game like that. Like, okay, you know, I'm going to pull, you know, do it randomly, shuffle Jennifer's deck, pull it, and then say, okay, you know, here's the King of Pentacles. There's all those symbols.
Yeah.
What is happening with them in the King of Pentacles? So I think it's so cool.
Well, you could do
Just for that.
something. You could do something with it. Well, actually, I'm just coming up with dozens of ideas right now. I mean, you could play a charades game using the symbol. But the
Yeah.
but the one that I thought of, which is almost what you're talking about, but it's a little different, is where you have a group of friends, you're playing this game, and you pass it around, and one person is officiating at a time, and that person randomly pulls a card, shows it to everybody. You got a few seconds to look at the card real quick. Okay, then they turn it around and they look at the card, and people, like whoever's next in line, has to give all the symbols they can remember from the card.
Oh wow.
And if they
Yeah.
don't get and if they don't get all the symbols, it'll pass on to like the next person, and they have to try to get all the symbols, and is there a missing symbol? And I don't know, something along those
Right.
lines. You can play all kinds of great games with this thing.
Right. I
Yep.
didn't even realize it till today. I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is even more fun.
Yes, yes, but it could be a charades game too. It's like pick a couple symbols and then you have to come up with something. Or the person that has to guess, they have to hold the card on their head. They can't see the symbols,
Right. Oh,
and
yeah. You could play like a psychic game with it,
yeah, oh my God,
like
Jennifer, I
the
hope you're writing
Turner
this all
cards.
down. This could go in your next, book
Somebody write
about
this
the deck or
down.
something. Great stuff. Wow. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
if you're watching an archive, or, if you got this deck and you've got cool ideas, shoot them our way, and or better yet, write an article on the tarotguild.com, and let us know how you're using the deck. That would be really cool as well. And of course, you can join us for our monthly Q&A session, and we can talk more about this or the next live. And I believe there's going to be, got to look at my calendar here, there's going to be a live next Tuesday is the 1st. I think I'm doing that with Gary Karp. The 8th, I have an appointment, so we're not doing a live that day, unless the staff gets together amongst themselves and they want to jump on and do a live. And then we'll have, wait, let me bring up all of March here. On the 15th of March, I'm going to be doing a live right here with Sharona. We're just going to be hanging out like we are right now. And Mary and I'll be back on the 22nd, again, asking you about the
another 22nd.
It'll be another 22nd. Yes. There's still be a 3 in there, but this doesn't, I don't think this happens again, till like 3, 22, 30, 33. Wouldn't it be great to live that long and see if that happens? But yeah. And so just real quickly before we finish the live, let you know that Mary and I, of course, will be on this Saturday with our monthly psychic spin. Hopefully you'll send us some more ideas things we can pull cards on for the psychic spin, but we know we're going to do, are we on the verge of World War III? We got that from Sharona.
Yay. And no, I hope we're not. Go ahead.
Yeah. And speaking of Sharona, right, I know. Hopefully we get a no on that. And speaking of Sharona, she's going to be having her next Magic Universe episode on the 27th, so the day after, this coming Sunday. And she'll be doing free readings as she does on all of her shows and open lines, but she also has special guests, Victoria Constantino on. They're going to be talking about Tarot by the Moon. So that's going to be an awesome one. And then as far as the workshops, I just want to remind everybody, don't miss the sorting hat spread with Corby Mitlide this Wednesday, February 23rd. So that's tomorrow. Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern. So that's we got 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. my town. I'm on Mountain right now. 6 p.m. Central and 7 p.m. Eastern. And Corby's going to be showing us how to do her sorting hat spread. Yes, from Harry Potter. And then on our next event after that is on the 27th. It's after Magic Universe. We're having another workshop. It's actually Mary right here doing her setting the stage, how to prepare so you can give great readings every time. And that's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, the 27th. So there you go. All the cool stuff coming up this week. And then we also have a staff meeting on Thursday, all you staff people. Oh my God, we have so much going on, Mary. This is awesome.
It was a lot in 1 week. It's kind of funny how it all happened.
Yeah, it won't always be that way. It won't always be that way, but yeah. I know a couple of people were asking me because there was no workshop on Sunday. I'm like, well, yeah, because it's on Wednesday this week. It's like it's not every Sunday. A lot of them just happen to be falling on Sundays, these first workshops. But as we get more instructors, it's going to be up to the teacher when they're available. Like Corby was available to do it Wednesday evening, which is kind of cool too. Get us, different demographic people can join us, right? And there'll be different teachers that need to teach on a Thursday afternoon or a Monday evening or a Sunday or a Saturday or
Sunday.
Yeah, we're trying to actually. I've been kind of semi-consciously trying to put a lot of them on the same time on Sundays, 4 o'clock Eastern, so that you got something to look forward to. I think it's a good time and day. But yeah, there will be these outliers, where we're going to have them. But the Q&A, the live Q&A sessions are the first Sunday of every month. So if you want to join us for the live Q&A, and remember, all these Q&A sessions, workshops, everything are free to our premium members. You can become a premium member by going over to thetarotguild.com, our website. Click on join the guild. It's $1 a month. We bill $12, you know, for the year, and it's only $1 a month, folks. And you get all these workshops, Q&As. You're able to then get certified as well, and you get other discounts like $100 off enrolling in my course. If you want to enroll in my course, it's I think a third off or something. I think it's $100 off, so it's $290.
And don't forget,
Yeah, $197
carry
instead of $297.
Disassembled.
And I'm sorry, I didn't catch what you said.
Oh, I was just gonna say, in case anybody like catches part of this and was wondering like what deck we were talking about, it was a Tarot Disassembled deck, and I used the Rider-Waite, the giant Rider-Waite as
I love
reference. You can see the difference in size.
You know, I recently
Jennifer made a normal size.
came across my copy of that, which is about 25 years old, my giant Rider-Waite.
Wow.
And I actually, I thought I lost it. I actually found it. Of course, now I have to figure out where I put it when I found it. And I'm not quite sure, but I may be using instead Tarot Disassembled teaching. There you go. Well, thanks everybody.
You should do it both.
Yeah, I want to do both if I can find it. I want to do both. But yeah. So thanks everybody, especially everybody that joined us live. I know it was a treat that Jennifer showed up, the actual creator of the deck, and then we had Vita on there and Rini Rose, and we had Sharona, and I don't know who else in the comments there. And if you're listening to this, if you're listening to the recording, hey, thanks for listening, and we'll see you live again real soon.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.